The gospel world is in shock as Donnie McClurkin, the Grammy-winning gospel singer and well-known minister, is now facing explosive allegations in a newly filed civil lawsuit. According to court documents, McClurkin has been accused of sexual assault, sexual battery, and other serious misconduct by his former male assistant, claims that have sent his church community into complete chaos. The lawsuit, filed last Friday in the New York County Supreme Court, names McClurkin's accuser as Giuseppe Corletto, who says the abuse took place repeatedly from 2004 all the way through 2015 during his time working as McClurkin's personal assistant. The details in the filing are intense, describing years of alleged manipulation and unwanted encounters that have now come to light after more than a decade. In one shocking section of the complaint, Corletto's legal team claims there's even an email from McClurkin himself where he allegedly apologizes and admits wrongdoing, writing, "I am the actual epitome of a desperate, dirty old man." Despite the disturbing nature of these claims, McClurkin's attorney has strongly denied the accusations, saying all these allegations are contradicted by the real facts. Still, the story has shaken both the gospel and church communities, especially given McClurkin's past public stance against homosexuality, which now makes the entire situation even more controversial. A legal representative for Donnie McClurkin has come forward with a firm denial, calling the new allegations categorically false. In an official statement released Tuesday, McClurkin's attorney, Gregory S. Lissy, made it clear that his client completely rejects every claim being made in the lawsuit. Quote, "At no time did Pastor McClurkin engage in any form of sexual abuse, assault, or sexual coercion of Mr. Corletto," said Lissy in the statement. The claims set forth in the lawsuit grossly mischaracterized their interactions, which occurred over a decade and in some cases nearly 2 decades ago. All these allegations are contradicted by the real facts. Lissy continued, emphasizing that Pastor McClurkin denies each and every allegation of wrongdoing and plans to fight back aggressively through the proper legal channels. He added that because this is now an active court case, McClurkin will not be making any additional comments at this time. According to court filings, the accuser, Giuseppe Corletto, was 21 years old when he first met McClurkin in August 2003. Corletto reportedly attended a reading from McClurkin's 2001 book, Eternal Victim, Eternal Victor, a personal testimony in which the singer discussed his faith, journey, and what he described as being delivered from homosexuality. The lawsuit claims that after the event, Corletto sought spiritual guidance from the gospel star, but that mentorship soon turned into something entirely different when McClurkin allegedly hired him as his personal assistant. That decision, according to Corletto's lawsuit, marked the beginning of years of inappropriate encounters that he says left him emotionally scarred and spiritually confused. According to the lawsuit, Donnie McClurkin and Giuseppe Corletto developed what began as a mentor-mentee relationship, but things allegedly took a disturbing turn behind closed doors. Court documents claim that during a series of so-called pray the gay away spiritual sessions, McClurkin allegedly touched Corletto inappropriately without his consent, framing the encounters as part of a spiritual cleansing process. The filings go even further, alleging that McClurkin created spiritual tests for Corletto by arranging uncomfortable situations with other men, which he allegedly described as tests from God. These claims have sent shockwaves through the gospel community, especially given McClurkin's longtime public preaching against same-sex relationships. One of the most serious allegations centers around a 2007 trip to California, where Corletto says he traveled with McClurkin, his girlfriend, and the singer's family. During that trip, the lawsuit claims McClurkin sexually assaulted him in a hotel room. The complaint alleges that after the assault, Corletto confronted McClurkin, but instead of acknowledging what happened, the singer allegedly claimed he didn't remember because he was on medication. The filing also states that McClurkin went on to emotionally manipulate Corletto, making him feel ashamed and responsible for what had happened. The lawsuit describes how this manipulation left Corletto feeling isolated, confused, and spiritually trapped, torn between his loyalty to a respected pastor and his pain from the alleged abuse. The lawsuit further claims that Donnie McClurkin allegedly used manipulation and spiritual influence to control and exploit his former assistant for years. According to the court documents, McClurkin exploited this tactic repeatedly, allegedly coercing Giuseppe Coletto into more unwanted sexual acts over a period of nearly 6 years. Many of these incidents reportedly took place while Coletto was still working at McClurkin's church, a setting that made him feel even more powerless and trapped. The filing goes on to describe multiple alleged assaults between 2007 and 2008, claiming that every time Coletto tried to step away or quit, McClurkin allegedly refused to let him go. The pastor reportedly told him that his deliverance and purpose were spiritually connected to McClurkin himself, a statement that, according to the lawsuit, deepened Coletto's confusion and fear of walking away. In addition, the complaint says that Coletto confided in several church staff members, hoping someone would intervene or offer help, but instead, nothing was done. The lack of response, the filing argues, enabled the behavior to continue unchecked. Coletto ultimately stopped working for McClurkin in 2008, but the lawsuit says he continued to encounter him in later years, making it difficult for him to move on or heal from what he claims he endured during their time together. The lawsuit continues with even more disturbing allegations, claiming that Donnie McClurkin, best known for his song Again, allegedly assaulted Giuseppe Coletto once more in 2012, years after their professional relationship had ended. At that time, Coletto was reportedly in Orlando, training for an airline job and trying to move forward with his life. According to the complaint, McClurkin somehow found out where Coletto was staying through one of his friends and unexpectedly showed up at his hotel room. The filing alleges that McClurkin told Coletto he needed to talk, and although hesitant, Coletto reluctantly let him in. Once inside, McClurkin allegedly begged him to be intimate one last time, but Coletto refused. The lawsuit then claims that Coletto later woke up to find McClurkin engaging in sexual acts without consent, and before he could react, McClurkin forced himself onto him again. A year later, in the summer of 2013, Coletto reportedly returned to McClurkin's church, hoping to find peace and closure. During that time, he joined McClurkin and others on a trip to Niagara Falls, where, according to the filing, another alleged assault took place. Days later, McClurkin reportedly sent an email apologizing, a screenshot of which was included in the lawsuit. In the alleged message, McClurkin described himself as a desperate, dirty old man and wrote to Coletto, "I forced myself on you, groping you, and when I think about it, you never touched me like that at all." The email also included a promise that McClurkin would remain a friend and pastor to Coletto, words that, according to the lawsuit, only added to the emotional manipulation and confusion Coletto says he endured for years. The allegations laid out in the 2012 Orlando incident have sent shockwaves through the gospel community, painting a disturbing picture of manipulation, confusion, and power imbalance. According to the lawsuit, what makes this situation even more troubling is the way McClurkin allegedly re-entered Coletto's life after years of separation, using trust, faith, and emotional connection to gain access once again. Legal experts have pointed out that if proven true, this could show a pattern of grooming behavior and control that extended long beyond their original working relationship. The emotional aftermath of these alleged encounters appears to have haunted Coletto for years. The filing suggests that despite the trauma, he continued to struggle with feelings of guilt, fear, and misplaced loyalty toward McClurkin, someone he had once viewed as both a spiritual leader and mentor. The combination of faith-based influence and personal manipulation, as alleged in the complaint, paints a heartbreaking picture of someone torn between belief and betrayal. The Niagara Falls trip in 2013, as detailed in the lawsuit, became another pivotal point in their story. After the alleged assault, McClurkin's supposed email apology, where he described himself as a desperate, dirty old man, has now become a central piece of evidence. The message reportedly includes McClurkin admitting to forcing himself on Coletto, while simultaneously attempting to justify his behavior by framing it as emotional weakness. For many observers, this alleged email is one of the most shocking details in the case, hinting at both guilt and manipulation. As this lawsuit unfolds, the situation is raising tough questions about accountability within the church and how spiritual authority can sometimes be misused to silence or confuse victims. Supporters of McClurkin insist the claims are false, while others believe this case could spark broader conversations about transparency, power, and trust within religious spaces. Regardless of which side people stand on, one thing is clear: this is one of the most explosive scandals to ever hit the gospel world, and everyone's waiting to see what will be revealed once this case officially hits the courtroom. According to the lawsuit, 2 years after that alleged apology email, Giuseppe Corletto once again found himself drawn back to Donnie McClurkin's church, this time while battling serious mental health struggles. The filing claims the McClurkin allegedly took advantage of Corletto's fragile emotional state, re-establishing contact under the guise of pastoral care, but ultimately engaging in more unwanted sexual behavior. The lawsuit argues that this pattern of alleged exploitation continued to prey on Corletto's vulnerability, leaving him trapped in a toxic cycle of manipulation and guilt that he struggled to escape. The legal complaint goes on to say that Corletto suffered severe emotional and physical trauma as a direct result of these experiences. He reportedly endured emotional distress, physical pain, and the loss of enjoyment of life, all stemming from what he describes as years of abuse and psychological manipulation. Attorneys representing Corletto are seeking a jury trial, as well as compensatory damages, legal fees, and additional restitution for the lasting harm he claims to have endured. The case has already caught national attention, with faith leaders, fans, and legal experts weighing in on what could become one of the most significant lawsuits to ever hit the gospel music scene. What makes this case even more emotionally charged is the deep contrast between McClurkin's public image and the nature of the accusations. For decades, he's been seen as a powerful voice in gospel music, a minister who openly spoke about personal redemption and moral conviction. But now, those very beliefs are being placed under a microscope as the public tries to reconcile the man they've admired with the allegations unfolding in court. Many are calling for accountability and transparency within the church, emphasizing that no position of power should ever shield someone from facing justice. As this case moves forward, it's clear the world will be watching every development closely. Whether McClurkin is vindicated or found responsible, this situation has already forced a difficult but necessary conversation about faith, power, and responsibility within religious spaces. What do you think about these shocking allegations and how this lawsuit might reshape the gospel community? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for updates as this story continues to unfold.